All right, this is a reading from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. This is week 15 for Easter, resurrection for every soul. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. John, chapter 20, we read the inspiring account of Jesus' resurrection. The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. Then she runneth and cometh to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and saith unto them, They have taken away the Lord. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in their midst, and saith unto them, Peace be unto you. The resurrection of Jesus, doubted by many but affirmed by those who were close to him, was a miraculous event, though one not unique in history. For many great saints of other religions have appeared to their disciples after death. Sometimes their appearances have been, as that of Jesus was, in flesh and blood form, and not only in vision. Paramhansa Yogananda relates in Autobiography of a Yogi the account of his guru, Sri Yukteswar's resurrection after his earthly passing. Miracles of this type are revealed only rarely to the masses, but accounts of them, related by men and women of reputed truthfulness, have inspired many devotees with faith in the reality of subtler than material states of existence. Resurrection, Yogananda explained, means transformation, ultimately from any lower state of being to a higher one. Worldly consciousness cannot imagine such transformation except in terms of, perhaps, an improvement of the present mess of pottage with the addition of a new flavoring. Divine consciousness, however, is capable of taking the base metal of worldliness and transforming it into the spiritual gold of divine wisdom and love. In keeping with this truth, the Bhagavad Gita in the 9th chapter tells us, Ah, ye who into this ill world are come, fleeting and false, set your faith fast on me. Fix heart and thought on me. Adore me. Bring offerings to me. Make me prostrations. Make me your supremest joy. And undivided unto my rest, your spirits shall be guided. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh, oh, oh.
So welcome again, and welcome to those who may have arrived a little bit after the purification ceremony, and those at home who are joining us maybe at this time. Happy Easter to everybody. And we're going to begin today with a reading from Whispers from Eternity. And this is a book of prayer, poems, and demands by Paramhansa Yogananda. He said that when he was with us, when he'd be no longer with us, he would speak to us through this book, through these prayers. Today, the prayer demand is 122. Satisfy my soul hunger. O all-pervading Spirit, the breeze of thy inspiration has removed every cloud from my heart. The firmament of my mind is now clear. Purified, I behold only thee everywhere. The sunshine of thy joy spreads rapidly to the farthest shores of my being. After long ages of hunger, I feed on thy light. By thy grace and by my constant wakefulness in thee, may this joy be mine forever, forever, and forever. Master had a way with words, didn't he? So, resurrection for every soul. As in the reading today, we heard how Mary Magdalene went to the sepulchre and saw that it was empty. Can we imagine her anguish to see that the body of her beloved teacher, Jesus, was missing? Can we feel the anguish of the disciples when they heard this news? After everything they had gone through with Jesus, all the miracles they had experienced, they saw Jesus raise the dead, restore sight to the blind, heal the sick. They saw miracles all the time. And when he was captured and taken away, they probably thought, it'll be a matter of time until he proves his divine status and comes back to us. They knew Jesus, they believed Jesus to be the Son of God. And they had left their lives and everything they knew in their lives to follow him, for they truly believed in Jesus. But then what happened after he was captured? He was humiliated, he was tortured, he was crucified. Now the body is missing. Other than the anguish, how many disciples doubted at this point whether Jesus was who he said he was? They went through a real dark night of the soul as they gathered together to protect themselves from the Jews who were out searching for anybody who was in contact with Jesus. And in the midst of that dark night, Jesus appears to them and greets them with, "Peace be unto you." From the anguish, they came into joy. They regained their wholeness when they saw their teacher in their midst. And that is what all these big teachings come to teach us. Life is packed with tribulations, with tests, with difficulties. They are here to teach us lessons. These are important lessons we need to learn. We came into this life to learn these lessons. Sri Yukteswar, Yogananda's guru, said that if we were too good for this world, we'd be adorning another one. But since we're here, we have work to do. And that work is important for the soul. How do we make this journey more fruitful and less cumbersome? It is said that the greatest suffering that we go through is by wanting things to be other than they are. We don't want the situations we find ourselves in. We don't want the tests that life sends us. We want things to be different. But we cannot resist life, and we cannot fit life into our plans. Our plans, life is much too large, and our plans way too small for the soul. And that's what we're here for, evolution of the soul. It is said that once Yogananda, I think it was at a Kriya retreat, but I'm not sure, was handing out roses during that retreat. And he handed one devotee a red rose. And the woman said, "Oh, I would rather have the pink one." And Yogananda looked at her straight in the eye and he said, "What I give, you take." What has the divine given you? Are you receiving it? Or are you wishing it were different? Jesus accepted his role. There were a lot of things that came together to be experienced in that role. Just before he was captured, he went, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, he went into solitude to pray as he envisioned what was going to happen to him soon. He'd be captured, tortured, and crucified. He prayed to the Father. He said, "Father, for you, everything is possible. Take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but thy will be done." He accepted his role fully. Yogananda also accepted his role. Yogananda would have rather be spending his time in the company of saints in the Himalayas, not running an institution. And prior to taking a body too, he didn't need to come in. For the love of humanity, he did take a body, attached to a personality, and he went through all the ordeals he had to for love. When we accept our role and we commit to doing the work, we commit to waking up, grace commits itself to us. God and Guru are with us always. There's a little anecdote about something that I witnessed a few years back. It was a little boy, he may have been 3 at most, in his little jean outfit. And he was facing the wall next to a store, and people were going in and out of the store, and this child was having a meltdown. He was wailing and wailing, crying. I mean, he had a good pair of lungs too. And the parents were standing by, nearby, and just apologetically smiling at people who entered and exit the store. But they weren't trying to stop him. They were letting him do his thing. And just as I came out, the child was not crying. The parents were still there. The child was facing the wall. And the mother said, "Tommy, are you done?" And the little boy thought about it a little bit and said, "No, not yet," and wailed again. Woo! And I thought, isn't that the case for us? Isn't the divine there holding us in the light? And we have our fits. We have our meltdowns. And the light waits, and it's with us, and it holds us. And that fit can be rage, it could be going through fear, depression, restlessness, agitation, whatever it is we're having. The divine gives us that space to express our free will. And it waits, and it waits for us. And in its great mercy, when it waits a long time, it sends in smriti, which means divine remembrance. Smriti knocks on the door of our consciousness and wakes us up and out of the fog of delusion, the fog of whatever issues we were wrapped in. In that waking up, we find ourselves back on track, back in the saddle, we turn away from the darkness. We turn to the light and we come into resurrection. Yogananda defined resurrection as any beneficial or uplifting change. So we can find resurrection throughout the day many times. And that's the promise of the masters. We can be filled with doubts, riddled with bad habits, in difficult predicaments, far from perfection, and yet the promise of resurrection is there for us. It's there for the taking. There's a little story in the essence of the Bhagavad Gita about a man, and he came to this saint. This man, young man's name was Naresh, and he came to the saint, and the saint said, "Who are you?" And Naresh said, "I'm Naresh." And the saint said, "Yes, but who are you?" "Yes, I'm Naresh Dodi." "Yes, but who are you?" "Well, my father's name is such. We live in Delhi. I'm an accountant." "Yes, but who are you?" And Naresh thought, the saint is either hard of hearing, or he's senile, or he's just not getting it. So he just stared at the saint dumbfounded, and the saint said, "Well, if you don't know who you are, it's good that you came to me." So the years went by, and Naresh started introspecting and thinking about things. Am I this body that is getting old? Am I this personality that keeps changing as I age and I refine certain things? Am I the job I perform? So he came back to the saint one day and he said, "I really don't know who I am." And the saint said, "That's better. Continue," he said. "Continue on your journey. Continue seeking." So Naresh went into a lot of introspection, and he started thinking and thinking until he realized he is this aspect within that never changes, but that observes every change. So he comes back one day to the saint and he says, "I know who I am, but there are no words with which to speak of it." And the saint says, "Well, now that words fail you, there's a lot we can communicate." When we're on our meditation in the silence, there is a lot that's being communicated to us. This is the way of the divine. Enter that silence. You live in it. You grow it. Sister Gyanapata, who was Yogananda's foremost female disciple, said, "It is by cooperating with our karma that we find the path of peace and blessedness." I will say that again. It is by cooperating with our karma that we find the path of peace and blessedness. When we resist our karma, we resist our tests, we resist life. And so we travel on our own little track. The stream of life goes this way, and we're right next to it on our own little personal track. That track never intersects with the stream of life. When that life comes to an end, we realize we never, ever truly lived. We never embodied our spirit nature. We never wielded the sword of wisdom to sever the cords of ego consciousness. Instead, we comforted the ego, we protected, we catered to it, we listened to it, we followed its demands. We've all been there, still there. The question is, do we want to remain there? So on this Easter Sunday, Easter week, that it is called in Spanish, it's a big deal. In Spanish-speaking countries, it's called Holy Week. And people always have vacations the whole week off, even though only Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are observed. Can we deepen our spiritual practices? Can we use this light to go deeper into what we are doing. Deepen our meditation, pay more attention to our inner life. And sometimes when you come to your meditation, it's not a longer pranayama that will take you into a sweet meditation. It's something perhaps we need to clean up when we're not on the mat. Jesus came in to teach us. There are two great components of Jesus's teaching. One is forgiveness, and the other one's love. So before we come to our meditation, maybe we can reflect a little bit on what we carry in our heart. Maybe a few grievances, ill will, old resentments, hurts. What is hardening the heart? Unless we make peace with the heart, with ourselves, not only forgiving someone who may have treated us kindly, but can we offer that peace to ourselves first? When we make peace with the heart, then you can offer that peace to others, not until then. And love. That love that never wavers and never ends. The love of the gurus, the love of the masters, the divine love. We need to put that into practice every single day of our lives. How do we do that? To family, to friends, to colleagues, to strangers, you just radiate vibrations of love from your heart. There's nothing that is more healing than those vibrations of love. People in the workplace, people in the marketplace, you bless, you wish them well. May you be at peace. May you be happy. The world is in the state it's in because we lost our ability to love. We stopped loving. Acceptance raises our state of consciousness. Forgiveness instantly raises our state of consciousness. Love raises our state of consciousness. When we bring that joyful, grateful, peaceful heart to our meditation, we'll notice a huge difference in our practice. A heart that is unburdened, a heart that comes to meditation in lightness and peace. The door of meditation instantly swings open. So this is what the masters came to teach us: how to love and how to serve. And we're all here on a great mission, a sacred mission. But the moment that we forget the high purpose that brought us into this existence, this is where we get into trouble. So keep calling on the masters. Stay focused. Stay on the path. Do the work and keep reaching for the light. Blessings.